Okay, welcome everyone to the Warwick Zoom garden plot. It should be Warwick Valley. We should change that. Season 4, episode number 11. I think we just probably have one more episode left in October. So welcome everybody. And we're just going to show you our basic rundown of tonight's program. Sorry, I'm rushing you.
No, you're not. We got to rush. We got a lot to cover today.
Michael's our usual host, but hopefully he'll be joining us. We're going to get a update from Warwick Valley Community Garden from Sarah and Mark's actual garden, which we've never actually seen his backyard garden.
We also have yours. We also have Common Ground. I just didn't get that into the agenda.
Yeah, I mean, well, just a few because we didn't know if we needed extra pictures, so I sent that.
Yeah.
Some announcements and then Q&A. Feel free, and again, teaching opportunity. Oh, that sounds interesting. Well, yeah, if any of you, even while you're on here now, I don't know, is it too late if they send probably too late if they send a picture now, but
yeah.
Yes, Christy needs a few minutes. All right, so we're going to get underway with Sarah, and take it away.
So this is the vegetable part of our garden. I didn't put on the picture of both the gardens at once because I thought everybody had already seen it, but we have a vegetable garden and we have a small orchard. So the vegetable garden, this year the vegetable garden was like everybody else's vegetable garden, a challenge. We had good tomato crops, maybe because I love tomatoes and spent a lot of time making sure the tomatoes were cared for. But we had great tomato crops. We had, I forget how many, I had a list somewhere, but I couldn't get my other screen up. We're about, I don't know, 20 varieties of tomatoes, I'd say. There's a number of them. We tried out single tomatoes as a test to see how we liked them. And then we had a number of beefsteaks, and the Sun Gold and Sweet 100 are our favorite cherry tomatoes. Here in the front, we cut back on the cucumbers this year, and everyone seemed to be happy with what there was. There weren't as many cucumbers, but there's a variety I found from Johnny's that doesn't seem to get any of the sort of blights. So that's good. We didn't have any problems with that. The peppers are just starting. They didn't like the early spring very much, and we plant sweet Italians, poblano, jalapeno, cubanella, and those little yellow Italian tomatoes, peppers. So they're coming on strong. Then over here, this is one of our harvests. So peaches were one of our big success stories this year. We had, I don't know, we have like 4 or 5 peach trees, and they came in at different times. And our last peach tree had probably the best peaches, the least diseases. So I don't know how many peaches we picked. So the peaches did very nicely. And you can see some of the beefsteak tomatoes over here in the corner. So what's next?
What's in that blue bowl?
Yeah, I wondered.
I don't know where we
back at the end of the other end of the bench.
Oh, that was somebody brought it. Somebody brought in a really yummy apple cake for breakfast.
I'm thinking, how did you grow that? Wow.
That was a little sweet delight.
Nice.
So here we are over in one. There's 2 long rows of tomatoes. You have to understand, tomatoes are my whole purpose for doing this. So, and what this picture is, there was one plant that had some type of disease on it, but with the crazy weather, the tomatoes will go bad or they'll split, and some of them, they get that weather rot. So what my method of taking care of that is, we all have deer and critters, we're all fenced in. So my method of dealing with that is you just take the bad tomatoes and you throw them over the fence. So I had one of the ladies,
Like very scientific. I like that.
one of the ladies demonstrate how to get the bad tomatoes out of your crop area so they don't infect the other ones and hopefully keep the critters happy.
Mhm.
And then this over here is a member, Peg. And Peg loves paste tomatoes, the ones you make the sauce from.
Mhm.
In fact, she's a Jersey girl, and she has a place in Jersey where she buys the plum tomatoes and brings them over for us. And this is when the tomatoes first come in around here, it's the big exciting day because everyone's waiting for the tomatoes. So this is Peg with her first plum tomatoes, and they are very good. Okay. And here's another picture of tomatoes. Tomatoes are the most important thing in the garden in my life.
Mhm.
And we have a lot of sunflowers. They're all volunteers. We have a number of volunteer flowers. There's some calendula down here. Everyone likes to have cutting, sunflowers to cut. We have some zinnias and other flowers. So we let those grow in with the vegetables and everyone gets their bouquets. There's the odd thing this year, I figured we're in, I think, our 14th year. We have not had a zucchini yet this year. It's unbelievable. Not one zucchini.
Well, how many did you plant?
Well, we only planted 2 because usually we have this, and they were right behind where those ladies are standing, and they just died this spring. So there's another zucchini plant that's currently flowering. We have one member who, like, I despise lima beans and he despises zucchini. So we have a running thing going, and I have sworn that Mikey put the hex on the zucchini because
You have to have a big celebration when that zucchini
yeah,
comes out.
it's an ongoing joke. So the story is that Mikey destroyed this, put the hex on the zucchini plants.
Nice. I gotta say, I love these pictures when Chad and you both put in pictures with all the workers, the volunteers too, because it makes the garden come alive in a different way, and I love it.
Oh yeah, because that's really, growing the plants and the harvesting. But this group, a lot of us, have been in this group for a long time now. And I've mentioned before, COVID really brought this group together, with real friendships as opposed to people running in for an hour and being in a hurry. It's back to people being in a hurry and running their regular lives now. But yeah, there's the whole, being friends. In fact, sometimes there's so much chit chatting, you can hardly get any work done. You've got to like move them along. But yes.
And I'm just letting Jen know that the Warwick isn't, they're a shared community garden. They share all the work in the harvest. It's not individual plots.
Right. It's different. So there's our little banana peppers. I just took a picture of one thing of peppers. And literally months, all spring, those plants were just struggling along. I think part of it's because when we planted tomatoes, I have an entire ritual and formula and give a lesson every year, and the tomatoes are like totally babied. And then the peppers came along and I gave them to everybody and I stuck them in the ground. So apparently all of the fussing works because the tomatoes, came on much earlier. And
you gotta show those peppers some love.
Yeah, those peppers are gonna have to get more love. And the past, when you have a garden like ours, Jen, what happens is we have a pretty consistent group now, but you get people who want more. They want a lot more of something. So you give them a lot more, like hot peppers. You get the request for hot peppers. And then all of a sudden, oh, there's too many hot peppers. And the hot pepper people go, oh, I have enough hot peppers. So anyway, we cut. And it's been like this for 14 years now. It goes back and forth. It's, I like having this kind of garden where everyone works together, but as the organizer, it can be challenging. You have to just sort of grin sometimes. And then this in the middle here, these are called northeastern pole beans, and they're a Roman pole bean. We started them a few years ago, and they're late because the peas are growing on this trellis, but they're a really delicious, long, flat pole bean. And on your left-hand side, this is a sweet potato and winter squash bed, which hopefully we had a huge sweet potato crop last year, so I hope they're good this year. And the winter squash were in late, but they're starting to form, so that's coming along.
I'm sorry, is this open for questions?
Sure, ask anything you want.
Yeah,
Sure.
those
ahead.
flowers that you just showed, are they also good for frying the way you would do a zucchini flower?
Oh, well, I ban all eating of zucchini and squash flowers
And why is that?
because I like zucchini and squash and I want the actual fruit. And we have a number of members. So if everybody goes running in and gets all excited because they can have a zucchini flower, what do we have next? Right?
Yeah, true. Yeah, you could. I guess they could take them all, and then you have no zucchini.
What about the males? Could you use the male flowers for that?
You know, I
Or-
don't really know how to tell the difference, and the people in the group do. So in some ways, when you're working with a group like this, it's more like you're working, some of the people have a lot of knowledge and a lot of people don't, or they don't retain a lot. So I look at it as, years ago, I was a manager in a big New York retail store, and the adult salespeople, you sometimes had to like manage as if they were in kindergarten. So I've learned it's easier and sometimes to just have yes and no rules, not yes, maybe. This is the difference between having your own plot and trying to get enough produce for a large group of people.
Yeah.
You could, but not for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, I get it.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is one of our peach branches, and here you can see buckets of peaches over here. The peaches, well, the orchard took up an amazing amount of time and resources this year. The orchard was put in, I forget how many years ago, at least 10 or 11 years ago, and it wasn't really well tended and no one really knew what to do with it. We won it from Edie's fruit. And then this last year, I kind of arm twisted somebody into being in charge of the orchard. And they really took it to heart, which is great because this is the first time it's really been cared for. We're learning more about the diseases and how to take care of them and what to spray when you have organic peaches. You can't just let them go. Everything just rots. We've got some nectarine trees. I don't know what's with them. They turned into those mummy funguses. But anyway, between pruning and thinning and I mean, it's never ending. So a lot of especially the guys really like the orchard. So I lost all my heavy work detail for the garden, but we're going to balance it out next year. And then we also have grapes in here. We got some Concord grapes last weekend. They were very yummy. And this is where it's in the orchard that the winter squash, this is also will be the garlic. That's where the garlic, there's blank spaces. We grow garlic in there. And what else do we have in here? We put the pollinator flower bed in. I didn't show that because it needs to be weeded. Weeds have been doing very nicely. There's also 2 pear trees. They're kind of small. We got some pears off of those. And we don't have apple trees because when we put this orchard in, there was a certain amount of controversy, believe it or not. I don't know about Greenwood Lake, but Warwick has controversy over pretty much everything you do. And there there were people that were concerned because this is a community center and there's school children. The bees were gonna, attack the school children. And then there was, if we had apple trees, we were going to be competing with the commercial growers, which is now that we've experienced growing fruit, is the funniest thing I ever heard of in my life. But yeah, we're competing with commercial growers, you bet. But anyway, I know, right, Christy?
Yes, this is killing me. Yeah. Oh, well.
Warwick is a very special place. Everyone has lots of opinions and everyone expresses all their opinions up here.
I'm curious about your peaches. Were they good to eat, not just plentiful?
No, they were good. The very first tree that ripened were very good and juicy. And then we had one kind of tree that's better for baking. And then the last two trees were very good.
Okay.
And we have one that's the donut peach, and they have some problem. They just rotted on the, but as I said, we spent hours and hours of time were spent, getting these peaches to produce nicely.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, and
jump in
I
there?
guess I'll show mine real quick, just because, again, I just sent them in just to
Yeah.
help out. I didn't know if we had enough pictures. These are little cucamelons or gherkins. They're very adorable. And they grow up the fence beautifully, and they're very tasty. And they're like, I try to plant a few unusual things to make, oh wow, that's kind of cool. And but by the way, we also have an open garden. We have no membership. We're open to all, free. And this is thanks to Jen over here from West Milford Community Garden. She posted on Instagram that the Rise and Root Farm was donating a bunch of fall starts, and I was like, holy shit, because I do not want to start. I was done. I was not starting any seeds, so I was like,
Yeah.
but I'll do some starts. So yeah, that was really great that she let me know about that, and I went over and I got a lot, and I offered a bunch of people, but I did put a lot in the ground, and we'll see. I've never done the fall starts, so I'm excited to see how it goes. And I put a bunch in the hoop house as well, that we have a hoop house, so see how they go in the extended season. This other picture, we're getting a ton of ground cherries, like a ton. I don't know if they just volunteer. We did plant a few, but not as many as we're getting. But I think a few from last year are coming back. And then you see the little cucamelons in that little container, the small container. Yeah, they're very cute.
How are
did they
they?
taste? Oops.
How are they taste wise? Are they like just edible as is, or do you have to do
Yeah,
something?
oh yeah, you just bite them. I'm trying to think how I could describe them. Like definitely like a little cucumber, but yeah, like it is like a cucamelon. It's like a weird combination. That's a good name for it.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm really bad at describing tastes. And the ground cherries are also very, very tasty. A little bit like a cherry mixed with I don't know what exactly, but they're very pretty. I mean, I took that picture on the internet because I'm really bad at taking photos. But they have come in like a little papery covering, and and they usually drop on the floor when they're ready. So
Like
but,
tomatillos.
yeah, but right, you could again you peel the paper and you pop them right in your mouth. And we got a ton of banana peppers, a bunch of these cucumbers. We do like a bit of a crop swap where we invite people on Wednesday evenings, whoever has extra produce to come by and share. Because we had a really bad cucumber year, so most of these cucumbers are from someone else. And the other spaghetti squash was from a Monroe Community Garden. They brought that over. But we probably got about 15 cucumbers total, and they were gone pretty quickly. So we had to do some zucchini, not as much as last year, but we did have a few.
Okay.
And I know someone picked the pepper early. I know, Sarah. I always think of you. I can't get them to
Oh
wait.
yeah, you get like slapped if you do that for me.
Yeah, no, I know you told me to be patient, let it turn, but people can't
We
wait.
we don't even grow regular green bell peppers. I refuse.
I grew a few. Yeah, no one could wait for them to turn red or anything. So, all right, Mark, there you go. And this
All
is his
right,
home
so
garden. He's shown his community garden many times. This is his actual
yes,
home garden.
so this is actually this is a disaster because I don't, and I apologize, but I wasn't able to get to the garden. My hot water heater had a leak in it from the thermometer with some gas connection, and I was mopping up the boiler room like all weekend. It was I didn't get out of the house. I basically spent the whole weekend just mopping and moving things that got wet and everything. So I never got there yesterday. So when Christy sent the message, I just ran out this morning before I went to work and I took some pictures of my home garden. This is a garden in neglect. I moved to this was my main garden from the time I moved in 1993 until 2017, and then because of the deer issue I have at the backyard, I moved to the community garden, which I'm having. Oh, that's another story in itself. We're in a bit of a revolution over there because we do individual plots. We do very little community, and um, we did have a nice setup where people were. It's falling apart socially. People are in charge or demanding things of other people. It's just a mess. It's really a mess over there, and it's not as
Wait.
enjoyable.
So I interrupt. No, I'm a little interested. We have a lot of
Right.
community gardens here. Like, what's the revolution about?
Well, I'm on one side and these other people on the other side. When people, we have an executive, I probably shouldn't be saying, oh, I don't care. I'll tell you what's going on. We have an executive committee. It's the park, the garden is in a town park. It's owned by the town. The town owns everything in the garden. But the gardeners have for years been run autonomously and doing whatever they want. And um, it's the people in charge tend to get a little like dictatorial, and everyone's very independent. Nobody wants to be told what to do. So there's friction there. And we had one person who started the garden, and I think of it as like he was the Tito of the Yugoslavia. So we're like the Yugoslavians. We're all different, but we'll get together. Once he left, it was like the Yugoslavian Civil War. It's like now we're at each other's throats. Um, that's the best way I can describe it. So
Let's hope it doesn't end the same way as
yeah. The town's involved now. It's a mess. People are telling people what to do. We have people who don't live in the town who garden there and have a bunch of plots. People in the town can't get plots. People are annoyed because tax dollars goes towards the garden,
Are
supports
they
the garden.
paying for the plots? Do you charge for the plots?
No. Well, we do charge for the plots, and everything in the garden is owned by the town. The town owns the garden. It's not an independent thing. They own the tractor, they own the shed, they own everything, and they support it. They come and help us out with some work, like emptying compost beds and stuff like that. So some of the people who are on the waiting list are like, I live in this town like 50 years, and there's someone who lives in Middletown who's got 4 plots. What's the deal? So they're annoyed. So it's causing major issues and stuff like that. And the people in charge currently they don't apply the laws, equally. If they like you, then you're good. If they don't like you, the same plot could have the same amount of weeds, and you get dinged with the clean this up or else kind of thing. This favoritism. It's just it's like a microcosm of politics in the world today. So it's not as enjoyable. But anyway, that's why I don't know how you guys do it. When you guys get to like Sarah, I'm amazed that you can actually get. I don't know which model is better. I don't think it would work with us. We're just too many independent people. Too many people have opinions and will not budge on their opinions. And I'm probably one of them. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a saint or anything. I'm in the middle of the mix, but it's just I don't know how you guys do it because we are very independent. Your plot is your plot, and you do what you want with it, and which is nice in a way, but there's
I think Sarah's a benevolent dictator.
Oh, I'm definitely a dictator. They call me a.
We used to have somebody who was kind of like that. He was the guy. I wouldn't call him a dictator, but he was in charge, and everyone went to him, and he settled all the differences. Like I said, the Tito in Yugoslavia. Once he left, it was like.
And my community garden, I don't have enough volunteers to even worry about fighting with.
About that, yeah. So it's just messy. It's unpleasant to go there sometimes because of the people. People complain to me. Oh, I'm being told to do something that's unreasonable, and look at his plot, he doesn't get, it's not, so there's a lot of unfairness issues and stuff like that. Rules are being made up, that are just kind of, nobody has the meetings, nobody attends the meetings because they get rambunctious. And rules are being made up that not everyone agrees with, but nobody wants to speak up. It's like, yeah, anyway.
Mark, just so you understand, the difference is our garden was started from the very beginning without individual plots. And we haven't had open membership drives since before COVID. We didn't need any more people. So no one was turned away, but you only joined if you had a friend who told you about us, and you came over and we told you the deal and you said you wanted to join. But when when we used to have open meetings to see if people wanted to join, it's made very clear there are no individual plots and there are never going to be individual plots. So if that's what you're looking for, this is simply not, for you. And
well, that's
so
not gonna, I do like the individual plot. I don't like being told what to do but we're never going to change that. That's like, nobody wants to have a community, total community feel. It's just everyone's way too independent, and that would cause a whole bunch of other headaches. So I can't see that. I can't see that happening. I just don't like the infight. I just don't like the unfairness and the I think what we need the town to step in and take over and run it, because the town literally, the town doesn't have any say in the matter. It's like, oh, he's my buddy, so I'll give him a pass on the weeds. And you're not my friend, I don't like you, or you gave me a hard time, I'm going to nail you. So we need a totally independent person, totally independent group, like the town. Just take over and tell us this is the way it is, and we live with it. And I think that would be more fair than the way it is now, because right now it's just, they rewrote the rules, and there was 8 pages of rules, in detailed rules aimed at certain people. Like there was rules aimed at me to get me out. So, it's gotten to that point where, like, they're trying to get people out, and they're making rules up, and it was like told, you have a week to review this and sign it, or you're not a member in good standing. If you're not a member in good standing, then we can decide to throw you out. It's like, that was the last straw. All of a sudden, everyone went to the town and said, like, what is this nonsense? Like, you're going to throw us out? I've been here for like 10 years, and because I don't sign this piece of paper. So that kind of started the big revolution, where we go to the town and complain to them.
Right.
But anyway.
So Mark, take us through your garden here, because
this is my garden at home. It's really been neglected. I do most of my gardening in the town. I get in here maybe 2-3 times a year, clean it up, and then it's on its own. So right here you see a conglomeration of pots and oh my God, so much stuff in there. There's oregano in one of the pots that's broken. There's a ton of mint. There's a volunteer squash. There's daylilies. There's irises. There's lavenders in the back. It just kind of got away from me. It gets away from me around this time of year. So this used to be really nice. It's just a lot of plants stuck together. I have a lot of cuttings, a lot of divisions I put into small pots that are all over the place. So
but it's so lush looking. It's so lush looking. It's beautiful.
Lots of herbs.
Yeah, I guess it looks good. To me, it looks like a disaster, a mess. But but I guess if you didn't know what you're looking at, because I guess I could have told you this is the design of it.
Yeah, right.
But to me, it's just like, I think the last time I got in there was about a month ago, when I had a week off, and I straightened everything out, and it's just, let it go and see what happens. And next year, when I retire, I'll have more time to really get to this, and I'll take care of this, and I'll probably take one less plot of the garden, so I'll have more time there. But there's a ton of stuff. There's a lot of mints, a lot of black-eyed Susans. This is a different angle, I think. Okay, this is the back end of it. There's vinca back in the back there, which is really a blessing and a curse, because it covers the ground really well, but it doesn't know when to stop growing. You can see there, I built a concrete bed that has lavenders in there. There's Siberian irises, some irises. There's an old composter I got from Garden Supply on the back left. I'm sorry, it's falling apart. that big structure in the back with the beams going out of it. I used to put my tomatoes in there that was my primary garden. Now it's just basically a compost pit. I take the kitchen scraps and I dump them in there with anything I cut down in the garden, yard scraps and stuff like that, and just let it rot. And then I just use that compost in the community garden and in this garden.
Hmm.
That's that's a better picture of it. So that's basically filled with compost. Rotted food. If you poke under there, it's just a mass of rotted food and compost in the works. On the right hand side, there's a whiskey barrel with curly mint. There's yarrow in the black container. The raised bed is just volunteered weeds. I filled it up with compost, and then to the far right is another wheelbarrow filled with, I think, lavender mint or Mrs. Dooley's lemon mint. I can't remember what. And then you can see that I got containers that are just strewn around. It's kind of messy. If you get to there's another picture I want to show you. My pride and joy of this garden is my rosemary bush.
Oh no, I don't know if I have it in here. I don't see it.
I should have mentioned it. I have it, but you saw that picture, right? So you can verify. I have a rosemary plant that I've overwintered in my garage for the last at least 10 years, maybe longer. I lost track. That's humongous.
Yeah.
Christy, you can verify it, right? It was a big plant.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I saw it. It's not sounding familiar. Sorry.
No, that's no problem. Maybe I didn't send it. I thought I took it. But anyway, that's about it for that. So it's just a work in progress. It's kind of in hold right now. I apologize for not getting out to the garden and getting pictures there. Garden's going well. A lot of harvesting. Potatoes, peppers, not too good. Tomatoes, beans. I've had more beans than I can eat. And everything else is about, is pretty good. So I didn't mean to get into details and bore you with the politics.
No, I asked you. It's interesting to see that, different situations, different gardens.
Yeah, it's just transitional stage. I'm sure we'll work it out. It's just that things get messy.
Yeah.
Just things get messy sometimes. And right now we're in a messy stage. So hopefully we'll get it straight out.
And now we're going to, Michael just joined us. We made a tradition of a shimmying place because we're all sitting down for hours during the day at work or whatever it may be. So we're going to take a minute you can turn your video off, leave it on, just to get up and stretch a little bit. So. All right, we are back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. Yes. So, Grow Local Greenwood Lake, which is the organization I am part of, we had a fundraiser, farm to table fundraiser this last Friday, even though it seemed like the apocalypse was coming before with the hail, thunderstorm, and all types of other incredibly scary things. But it was an incredibly wonderful event. And right, Sally mentioned there's a woman in who the Garden of Edenville. She made these gorgeous flower arrangements for us, actually utilizing a lot of cabbage and carrots in there. So we're at 97% of all the food we had there was sourced locally, local farms. We went to vineyards for wine. So it was really an incredible undertaking. Sylvia just joined this call, and she's part of the committee. And it was really amazing and a bunch of great people, and we had great music. It was very successful. Hopefully it will be an annual event for us. But the first one was excellent. So thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
And as well, we have some upcoming events. We're going to doing this Thursday at the Senior Center in Greenwood Lake. Try to let us know if you're coming. We do have a website. We have someone from Cornell Cooperative Extension is going to come and give a demonstration on canning, drying, fermenting, real brief run through on food preservation. So that's very exciting. And then Sarah mentioned we have a woman, Sonia Mason, who's incredible. She's going to do, she's going to walk around the garden because we do have a lot of native seeds, plants. So she's going to show, best times to collect. And then we have a bunch of extra bee balm and other things that you could dig up and take home with you. Strawberries. We have giant fennel. So that's going to be at our community ground, 13 Poplar Street on September 30th. Our next meeting, and I don't know if it's going to be the last one for the season, probably October 9th, 7:30 again. And putting the bar, I guess you could choose between putting the garden to bed or that's October 14th. Oh, we're good then. Yeah, putting the garden to bed, that should be interesting. And that's going to be, do you know where that's going to be? I don't know.
It says at the over the Master Gardeners.
Oh, they have I didn't even know they had a space. Oh, that's interesting.
No, they're over in Middletown, and they're in that. I always forget how to get there, but it's one of the old psych center.
Okay.
Oh,
Back
So
over in there.
that's excellent. So that's something we're all interested in doing. And
In
if you want composted barrels, OC Recycling, Ermin. That's great. So let them know, and you can pick them up at the Warwick Farmers Market, where they also pick up food scraps. If you have food scraps as well, and I have in the Greenwood Lakeside Farmers Market, we also collect food scraps. So
Let me just say the composter barrels, Ermin's got 3 left from the sale that Orange County was having. And if you let me know or contact him, or anybody actually at Sustainable Warwick, we'll let him know to reserve one for you. And the only stipulation is you have to come pick it up, and it's $60 cash.
that's a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any questions?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Do they have any of the rain barrels left?
He
sale?
didn't say that. I don't
Okay.
think so. Yeah.
And I'll just take one quick second. Sorry, in the middle here. We have some new people joining us. I should have done this at the beginning, but I didn't. Jen, do you want to just say a quick hello from the West Milford Community Garden and just give a little brief rundown of what you're up to?
Actually, it's Milford, PA, not West Milford. So we're in Pike County, and the we is more of the royal we, because it's actually just me for the most part. It was a beautiful community garden that everything is donated to the ecumenical food pantry, but all the helpers are retired. They got older, they didn't want to do it, and so it's been defunct for a few years now, completely overgrown. So I'm just plodding away at getting all the weeds out. I cleared 11 beds, planted 7 of them, and it's huge. If you look us up on Instagram or Facebook, it's absolutely amazing. I cannot believe how big and happy and healthy these plants are. We're going to have broccoli, cauliflower, rutabaga, beets, and they're all just exploding. And I also planted carrots that just started to come up. Probably, my guess is they're probably not going to be harvested this winter, now in the fall. This is an experiment, they should overwinter because they are biennials. So as long as they're strong enough, this will be a really good spring crop. And then I put in spinach and some leafy greens. So we'll see, and they're popping up as well.
Oh, wow. So you're incredible. Well, hopefully you get some people to help you out next year.
I'm hoping. I'm looking into doing some of the classes for canning, gardening, things like that, to get people in the area, like younger people that want to help, because no offense to anybody here that's retired, but trying to organize retired people is like herding cats. It's near impossible.
Well,
It's
again, all
near
it takes is one
impossible.
all it takes is
Nobody-
one person with passion, and you seem to be that person.
That's
Well,
it.
th-
So
thank
it's
you.
huge. And I've had a lot of help from the township because the garden is fully fenced in and maintains like the grass in between the beds because these are all raised beds. And it's maintained, the grass is mowed by the township. And they've just been so helpful. The one guy, Harvey over there, just always asks me if I need water while I'm out there. His lends an ear. He's willing to do just about anything, and he never seems to complain about me being in his way. Like, can't we just mow this down and make my job easier? He's very, very excited to see, and he will sometimes water it when I don't get a chance to. So,
Okay. Thank you
yeah,
so much.
he's been
Thanks for
great. I've
joining
had
us and
someone that
spread
way.
the word. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
At a farmer's market in Fort Worth, Texas, visiting my family down there, I somehow developed this relationship with one guy who turned out to be like managing a large number of community gardens in Fort Worth. And his idea was, first you make the community, then you make the garden. But I know that's not the way it happened to Chad, and it doesn't sound like the way it happened to you.
No, I'm
There's-
definitely doing this. No one asked for this. I just did it. It was offered
Jen-
to me, and I said yes.
Jen, have you heard of Tri-State Outlook?
No, I'll write it down. Tell me more.
So they cover your town, and the woman who runs it, she does really nice in-depth articles. If you could get her to write an article about you, and I'm sure she would love to do it,
Okay.
you would find volunteers. Basically, it'd be a great recruiting. Here, text me separately in the chat. Give me your email address, and I'll introduce you to her.
Absolutely. Let me see how-
You know,
Michael is my name.
Thanks. Good work, Michael.
you know, Jen,
Yes.
we in Warwick, we have a lot. Actually, a lot of our members started not retired, but I don't know, 3/4 of us are retired or almost retired now. But we also have the two things are the deer, because everyone gave up on having their own garden around here unless they could have the urge or afford to put in a deer fence. And we have a lot of senior development. So we have people who, you know, have always gardened, but, you know, they need a place to garden.
Right.
I mean, you may have to offer them some food.
Yes, that's
Not-
possible.
You know, not just, you know, give it all away, but
Right.
seniors, like people who are accustomed to garden, and a lot of people want to learn how to garden, and they don't have the space and they have the critter problems. So there's actually, you know, they're out there. So if, you know, over the winter, if you make some contacts in those areas, you would probably find some very willing gardeners. And just,
Yeah. I think, let me see if I can get back here. Hold on. Sorry. I'm trying to, there we go. I've had some good suggestions, from, I'm thinking about going to the school and seeing who needs, community service for, you know, their resumes or for their, transcripts, whatever it is, and get some of the kids to come in. So that's like the much younger, maybe they'll get their parents, but, and again, Tractor Supply told me, and they're only a quarter mile away. I can put up a tent there to get some awareness. So those people already, you know, or have some knowledge for the most part, most of the time. So hopefully I can get some help, you know, and some awareness. And again, what I'm trying to do, I'm not, you guys are really the only ones I'm telling to do it by myself. I'm pretending I've got a whole crew of people, and I keep posting people's names. And, you know, if someone, you know, gave me a smile that day and I'm like, oh, thanks to this one for doing whatever. And I got this from here and I got that from there. And I'm trying to develop some of the FOMO, the fear of missing out. And you know, just everyone wants to do what everybody else is doing. So that's kind of the energy that I'm bringing right now.
Oh yeah, I know. I've done tons of workshops, and I had like 3 people there, and I take a close up and, you know, make it think like there's like 40 people there.
Right.
yeah, we started with in February, people start getting into the mood in February, putting something in the newspaper, and we had meetings over we don't own our land. The land belongs to the community center, but we do not get any, we're totally self-supported. We paid membership dues and we do everything ourselves. Well, the town does mow for us, but we would have put articles in the paper and have meetings about, come learn about the garden. So people, would come over, and then there's a whole dog and pony show and handouts and then explaining exactly how our garden operates. So, up front, what it's going to be. And that's how we built up the membership over the years. And then
Gotcha.
ours is a whopping $35 for garden and orchard. I think we need to raise the dues, but that's another discussion we used to have about 5 people organizing. Now it's 3, but
Jen, if you get like a couple of good seniors, we have they can make a big difference because
yeah.
in our garden we have a bee and butterfly garden that's run by a woman named Terry. She's an older woman. She's been retired for years, and she needs some help to do it. But although last year she didn't get any, it makes a beautiful garden. And we had another 2 or 3 people who were retired who maintained certain areas of the community part of the garden, and they were fantastic. In fact, one of them left, and it just went down the tubes. And just the opposite experience. We've had plots that were taken over by like Girl Scouts or some other kids, and they just didn't do anything. It was like, it was I just don't think they were either supervised correctly or they didn't know what they got themselves into. But I find that some of the younger people, they really, like in their 20s and 30s, they get in there, they think they read it, they look at a YouTube video, they think they know how to do it, and they're in way over their head. And now it could be the size of our plots. We have huge plots. Our smallest plot is 20 by 20, which is another issue. Maybe if we go on more than 10 by 10, they could handle it. But a lot of the younger people, they get in there, they think they know everything. They start gardening, and they find out very quickly that it's a lot more work than they anticipated, and a lot of them abandon it. But the older people tend to stick with it. If you get a good crop of older people, I mean, they have to be focused. But like Sarah was saying, a lot of these older people have gardened before. They know what the deal is, and they know what it takes. And they either go in with partners if it's too much, or they handle it.
Well, this garden club was run originally. We're under the umbrella of the garden club itself. This is just kind of a section of the garden club called the community garden. So they're our umbrella, and they do a beautiful job all around town. I just got a message today on Facebook from someone that had driven through the Pennsylvania area on a way to a wedding, and they just were in awe of one of the memorial gardens, and they just were so happy and blah blah blah. And so those pieces are really kept well. They really pride themselves in Milford to make it look nice. But the growing of vegetables, it's not nobody. I mean, I have been sending out emails to people who said they wanted to help, that wanted to volunteer. And so there was that foundation, but like you said, they've been there, they've done that, and they know what it takes. And the community here has decided they know what it takes, and they don't want to do it. So I'm not
Also,
really
sorry to interrupt you. I just want to
giving
know
20-year-olds or 15-year-olds. I'm thinking, other people that might be enthusiastic.
So, Jen, are you going to have you have really large plots, right?
They are 4 foot wide, and they're about 12 foot long.
Oh,
And
and
we've
that's
got
okay.
about
That's
33 of them.
I mean, what model are you going to follow? Would you say you want to give people individual plots, or you want to share?
No, it was opened up to feed the ecumenical pantry. So we're putting aside a few plots to fundraise for the plant sales. that we do. So people take stuff out of their own gardens and they're gonna put it in there. And then when we have the spring sale, they're gonna do that. I'm sure that this is going to evolve. But for the most part, this is just a donation garden. This is just us gardening because we've got it's well over 60 families that need food. And several churches that have come together and they're doing a great job, but it's more and more people in that area that need help and less donations. So
But maybe
there-
are you selling it that this is a garden for the food pantry?
so far, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's
I
how
thought that might
I've only just gotten to
traction.
this. I mean, I only just because one of the garden members was I was saying something about my garden because I have extensive garden here. I've been doing this for forever. I've helped teach NOFA, hoop houses and sauerkraut and all of these other fun things. I've been doing this for a long time, but in my own spot, and I kind of wanted to share and be part of a community just for the community part of it. And when I was told about this, and then I saw the state of it, I couldn't not do anything. So it's always been arranged as this food pantry kitchen, yeah, garden. So
Is there,
I think that yes, once, but I'm not going to clear it out for everybody else so that they can have a plot themselves. We're going to have to figure that out. I'm also dealing with Tree of Heaven, that's taken over 3 of my beds. So
is there anyone among those 60 families who would like to contribute to the gardening?
I'm gonna have to check. See, there's
That's a
always
good point.
drama
That's a good
when you
idea.
go to clubs, right?
Yeah.
Always drama. So I have been told, because I came into this blind. I'm not even part of this community. I'm in Port Jervis, so it's the next. It's this, you cross the bridge. It's a different state. I mean, I'm in New York. I mean, it's only a few miles away, but it's still, so I'm not really even part of this community. So I came into this completely blind and I'm finding out so much, but there's a lot that I have to find out on my own because there are so many gatekeepers that aren't really letting me in. So I was told that Home Depot didn't want to help. I went down to Home Depot with my paperwork and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. We would be happy to help. And they've been giving me stuff left, right, and center. They're telling me that the food pantry won't take lettuce. What food pantry is not going to take mixed greens? I think that's ridiculous. And then I said, well, I'm going to come to the meeting. And they're like, don't come to the meeting. So I'm fighting a lot. I'm not fighting. I haven't chose to fight, but there's a lot that I'm up against. And I've only been at it for 2 months, month and a half. The amount of stuff that I've gotten done in a month and a half, I'm like, I'm steamrolling right through this. I just pure force.
All right, go girl.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Thank
All right,
you. I'm
but
gonna
it's getting
need-
a little
but
late.
I'm
Sorry,
hoping that you guys in the community to give me some motivation. You've all got some really great ideas. And I'd like to see this happen. I
That's what
really
this is
do.
all. It's all about sharing ideas and information.
I love it.
But
Yeah,
we
well,
don't like to go too far over. So sorry. I'm glad we heard your
what-
story.
What you're doing is really good, especially for helping the people. And don't give up when you get flack from people. Just keep fighting.
Thank you.
So who's planting, anybody putting seeds in the ground at this time of year?
Oh, yours truly is still plodding away, fighting the crazy weather cycle and putting in seeds. I will tell you, I forget who was talking. Oh, it was Jen. I mean, I plant spinach this time of year if I could get it not to flood out. And the
Yeah.
thing is, you have to cover it with something called agricloth. And I overwinter spinach. I don't think you can overwinter any type of beets because the beets themselves will probably freeze.
Yeah.
But now I've got some seedlings coming up, still planting.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Anybody
putting
else?
in. I'm going to put some lettuce, some arugula, radish, and
Yeah.
again, I put those starts in. So
Mhm.
I'm going to go a little
Radish.
bit longer than usual.
Yeah.
Radish and kale all day.
Yeah.
Yep. I let my arugula go to seed, and so I have a nice new crop of arugula coming up. But yes,
I planted a second crop of beans about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and they came up super quick, and they're growing super great. And I'm gonna get more beans into the fall. They're gonna probably flower in a week or two. I had great luck with beans this year. I had so many beans. I was pounds of beans a week and giving pounds away.
Wow.
So from a
That's
4 by
awesome.
plot. You know what? The secret to what I did was I made the rows very tight, and I made the seed. I planted them 1 inch apart, so the planting was extremely dense, and there was just so many beans coming out of those plants. It was so that's what I did with the second crop, and I think that's what I'm gonna do from now on. Just a real dense growth of bush. I use bush beans too, not pole beans. So
So Michael had a question. Michael?
Yes, I'm here. I'm awake. You know, this is just the tip of the iceberg for the mustard garlic that's growing out in the woods behind our house. And, you know, they say, oh, what you really want to do is go out and pull it up by the roots, and don't compost it, send it off with your trash. You know, if I pulled it all up, first of all, it would take how many days? And second of all, it would not fit in any human-sized trash bin. It's just way, way too much of it. So could I just like significantly slow it down if I just cut it?
Michael, I don't think that's garlic mustard.
Oh,
No, I have this stuff. I found the name of it one time. I have a kind of a, I have an area by my house that when I moved here 30 some odd years ago was just totally overgrown. So it's cool. I have all kinds of interesting things down there, but they tend to take over. And I let this grow for a while because it was pretty, and now it's a real pest. I forget the name of it, but that's not garlic mustard. The garlic mustard is in the spring and it's long gone. And this
okay.
year I did start putting it into trash bags, but just mow that stuff down. It's really hard to pull up. I've been working at it. But
What
cut
about
it,
if you
Because
got
this
some
stuff is
goats?
this stuff is
You
growing
think goats
over.
would eat that?
This stuff is growing. Oh, excuse me, Chad. This stuff is growing over where the mustard garlic was. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
same spot. That's why I was thinking, oh, it's like a
No.
second. No,
no, this is a fall. If I can find the name of it, I'll email it to you because I spend, the usual hours looking for the name of something and then forgot it. But no, I have this all over the place. I know what it is. And
I
it's,
could do a
and it's,
reverse lookup with my
yeah, with your Google phone thing.
yeah.
But
Oh,
it's got a very dense root system. I mean, they're hard to pull up.
Michael, it's Sally. Can you
yeah,
hear me?
Sally. Yep.
I don't know if this worked or not. I have this app that I think I might have mentioned to you. It's called Picture This.
Mhm.
And I just scanned your picture with my app, and it came up that it was a white snake root. I don't know if it got it clearly enough or not. Does that sound right?
No, I use that Google app, and I think you really have to be in front of the actual plant. I don't, unless it's something really distinctive, like a close up of a rose bush. I don't
Yep.
think it works scanning off a computer screen from a distance.
All right.
But
I'll try.
it's, yeah, it'll take over. Been there, have it.
But it is occupying the same spot where there's
Yeah.
mustard garlic in the spring.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes.
can you
It's
learn to live with it,
beautiful.
or like embrace it, or that's not part of the?
Well, the mustard garlic, they say is really invasive. It
It
puts
is.
out the lellopathins that make it hard for trees and other things to grow around there. So it
What
really
about
wrecks the understory of a forest.
Could you embrace this? Make it part of your, like,
It
like
looks pretty.
call it a friend instead of an enemy, and
Well, when I say cut it down, it's going to come back next year. If you just don't want to
Yeah,
look
exactly.
at it, just cut it down. It'll be back. Don't worry.
Is it as bad for the stuff around it as the mustard garlic?
Hmm.
That's what I would
Maybe
find
you
out
have a-
before I'm going to put any energy into it.
Yeah.
Are the
Maybe we have a
pollinators?
wild area. If I want it as a wild area, I just let it go. The mustard stuff is like crazy out of control. So this spring I kind of, went after it because there's so much of it. And I started pulling it up and it's this big black plastic garbage bag of obnoxious weeds that's going in the trash this fall. That I keep dumping nasty weeds, as I say in there. I mean, this stuff is kind of pretty, but then it got out of control.
Could you get a close-up picture and send it to, maybe we could get a better,
I will. I'll take a
reading on it
close
with
up
the
and I'll
picture
take a
this.
close up and yeah,
Yeah.
it just grew
And
in the
then-
same place and I knew it was
Yeah.
mustard garlic and yeah. So, okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me on that.
Are
Very
the
helpful.
pollinators using it at all, or the pollinators are avoiding it?
I will look more closely at that also.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, it could be a pollinator. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, but we could find more information and get back to you and let you know
Yeah.
if it's friend or foe. And
Okay.
and I mean,
So we're gonna move on because it's already after 8:30, but because these are my grandchildren, I'm not letting you leave until you ooh and ah.
Oh,
So Michael did this beautiful thing and I want to thank him again. He invited my two grandsons over for a potato dig. And first he showed them around the garden and they were very attentive when normally they run around like wild men. They were very attentive and patient and they listened to him. So it was just a wonderful, wonderful thing. They both came with their boots and their, little shovels and everything. So when we got to actually dig, and he showed them the mint in the yard and then later gave them some mint tea and they actually drank it and didn't
Wow.
say, what's this? It was terrific.
Wow.
But then he got to digging at the potatoes and they were ecstatic. My one grandson kept saying, "It's the mother lode," and he's digging and digging, and he was so excited. So
that's
I just
great.
want to say again, thank you, Michael. It was a beautiful
Oh.
thing to do.
That's nice. That's
It was the
Michael's-
highest point of my gardening year to have those two over.
Oh, that's
There you
great.
go. And
nice.
Michael's
two
garden,
future gardeners.
Michael's
Yes.
garden is magical. He has the most magical space.
I agree. It feels very natural, and yet it's organized, but it's very natural at the same time. It's nice.
The organization is completely running away at this time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's a very nice garden. You're
Yes.
too critical of yourself.
Magic garden.
Yes.
All right, weather update from Mr. G. Mr. H.
Yeah, I picked these up, Michael. I hope they're the right ones.
Yeah.
I think it is. Yeah. So if you want to see where we're going.
When are we expecting because the almanac's completely out the window now, right? We can't
Oh,
even
yeah.
pay any attention to the almanac.
Nah.
So are we planning for a frost in mid-October as normal or what?
and October's
I'm
normal,
not. I'm not.
or even mid-October is normal. I'm planning on a very cold winter, snowy winter. We're gonna get a winter of 96.
When do
Tons
you
of-
think
Go away, Mark. No.
Wait, this is being recorded. We'll see.
when do we get this when are we preparing for the snap? Like when should I take out my row cover and get ready?
When the weather tells you the next day it's going to be like a frost, and then you can take that with a grain of salt. That's how the forecasts are. I'm more interested, is the hurricane going to be a repeat of Sandy, the one they're so focused
hope-
on?
I heard there's a chance, but I really hope not. That was
I know.
yeah.
I know. I don't know.
Wait, there's a hurricane coming? I missed this. What's this?
I mean, it's
That's
all they talk about on the Weather Channel.
Hurricane Lee is coming up, and
Lee.
it could hit us.
Right.
My friends tell him he follows it. He says it could he thinks it's going to hit Atlantic City, which would be like Sandy, because
Yeah.
New York Harbor is like a funnel. It'll just drive it up the. I hope it doesn't. I hope he's
Oh
wrong.
boy.
No,
Yeah.
it's
But the predictions are that mostly that it will stay off the coast unless it makes a
Yeah,
leftward
unless it
shift.
makes a hard left into New York. Remember?
And when is this coming? Like soon?
probably
End of this week.
End of this
Oh, boy.
week.
I better check my weather channel. All right, but everyone, I think thank you
All right.
all.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for joining us.
All right.
Hope we'll see you
Thanks
next
for
month.
having
Spread
me.
the word.
Thank you.
Bye.
Mhm.
Bye bye. Thanks.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Michael,